on to the much awaited session of the day, the Telangana Ophthalmological Society Drishti Student of the Year competition for postgraduate students. I would like to hand over to Dr. Srinivas Joshi and Dr. K. Madhukar Reddy to please break the suspense and share the results, as I'm sure everyone is nervous and excited at the same time. Over to you, Dr. Joshi and Dr. Reddy.
Thank you. Yeah, I think let the students come onto the stage. Please open up your videos.
I'm sure we would want to see everyone's expressions while announcing the results.
Sure.
Great.
Hello, Monica.
Hello, sir.
Good evening, everyone.
Maria, yeah. Srinivas, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Pradeep.
Hi.
Do we have all the students here?
Yes, doctor. All the students are here.
All 7 are there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Atreya, who will go first?
So first is Shweta Ji,
Shweta G. Okay.
and then Priyanka Gumste,
Priyanka.
Sarang,
Pardon? Sarang.
Okay. Maria,
Maria. Yes.
Praneeth,
Sorry, come again.
Praneeth,
Praneeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Priyadarshi,
Priyadarshi. Okay. And then?
last is Dr. Monica, sir.
Yeah.
Lastly, Dr. Monica. Yes. Good evening once again, everyone.
Good evening,
All the
sir.
best.
Srinivas.
Thank you,
Just
sir.
all the
Thank you,
participants.
sir.
I'll just go ahead with the rules of this competition. Who
Let's
wants
see
to be?
how many judges are there. Let's see how many judges are there.
Yeah, Dr.
Hi,
KP is
Krishna
here.
Prasad. Hi.
Dr. Digvijay is joined.
Okay.
Good.
Hi.
And Dr. Pradeep sir is here.
Yes.
3 of them are there. And Dr. Somshila Murthy has just joined. 4.
Okay.
And then we will have.
Hi, Madhukar.
Hi. Can see you now.
Yeah.
Hi, Fairoz.
Here.
Yeah. Hi.
Okay. And we have Dr. Somshila
Hi.
Murthy is there. And Dr. Fairuz has also joined. Okay, sir. Shall we go ahead? Without wasting much time, we'll go ahead with the rules of the presentation. I hope my screen is visible to all.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So here comes, my dear students, the Student of the Year competition. So the candidates have been chosen based on the results from the quiz and the NS Ready free paper session. So there was a tie for the third place in the free paper. So that's why we have 2 candidates, total 7 candidates. And selection definitely will be based. First round will be a basic round where I'll put on the slides and you will answer to those questions. And then we have the second round where it's a clinical judgment. No, you have to judge what is that, what is the case, how to arrive at the diagnosis, how did you arrive at that diagnosis, what are the pros, what are the cons, what are the complications. Everything will be straightforward. You don't need to worry. You just need to tell what you know. Just apply your mind, and I'm sure you'll come out with the wonderful answers. So we have anchors, Dr. Madhukar sir also with me today. And we have our esteemed judges today, Dr. Pradeep Swarup sir, Dr. Nandakishore sir, Dr. KP, Dr. Somshila Murthy, Dr. Fairuz, Dr. Digvijay, and Dr. Divakant Mishra. So let's go ahead with the promo of this video created by one of our fellow, Dr. Madan Joshi. So let's go with this Student of the Year competition video.
I declare Student of the Year competition open.
Thank you very much. I hope the video was good enough for you all.
Very good. Very good. Excellent video.
Excellent video.
So
Apt.
let me share the scoring pattern as well. So the candidates will be scored based on their articulation, repartee, that is how witty they are in answering the questions, especially in the final round. The confidence, what is the confidence you show in that? The X factor, I did not explain more about that. And most importantly is the content, the academic quality of your answers. So totaling up to 100 marks. So I request, I hope the judges have already received this score sheet from Dr. Santosh Honavar sir. So I request all of you to please make a note of it. And with this, I request Dr. Honavar sir is here. No.
No, sir, he's busy in another session.
Okay. Dr. Pradeep sir, you want to say
Yeah.
a few words, and Madhukar sir, before we start the first round.
Yeah. Well, thank you for inviting me to be a judge. I think it's a very good concept, Madhukar, and something which will be interesting, not only for us, for everybody. And it's a good encouragement to the students who are going to participate, and we'll choose the best, I'm sure. Thank you. And Srinivas, you're conducting it very well. I'm sure you do a good job. You plan it out very well.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for those kind words. Madhukar sir?
Yeah,
you
I
would-
think, yeah, basically it's just to encourage students to compete. And they have done 3 years of their post-graduation with a lot of effort. And it's last college life they have. But it's fun. And Srinivas Joshi, your concept, which you had started earlier, was the triggering factor for me to support this and then start it here. And really looking forward for this program every year. Thank you very much for your big help. And let's go ahead with the program.
Yes, sir. Okay, so I'll just preparing to put up the slide. Give me a second. Okay. So,
Will all the students be answering the question?
yes, sir.
Okay.
Something is wrong with my keyboard.
Yeah, basically, Pradeep, each one will have a different question. So there are set of 6 questions, 7 questions now.
Okay.
One will be something like the MCQ, one will be a case scenario. And then
Fine.
in the next round, it will be lifestyle, ethics, general. It's a general aspects of life. The first round is the academic round.
Good.
Okay, so we shall go ahead. So I'll start my screen share. So the first participant will be Shweta ji. Shweta ji, are you there?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good evening.
Good
Kindly
evening, sir.
unmute yourself, please, and then are you able to see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so shall we go ahead with the first question?
Yes, sir.
Good. Judges, ready?
Ready?
Good.
Ready?
Right. I don't know, the slides are not moving. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll do it. Okay, it's coming. It's coming now, Joshi.
No, sir. 1 second. Okay. Okay, the question to Shweta.
Yes,
Identify this legend and his contribution in the field of ophthalmology. Your time starts now. Go ahead. Can you notice this gentleman?
He changed our lives in cataract surgery.
Exactly.
Yes, Charles Kelman, sir.
No.
No, last chance.
He played a bigger
Ridley.
role.
Very good.
I will-
So it's
full name. Full name.
full name.
Then he was knighted also.
Sir.
Okay, so this is Sir Harold Ridley.
Harold Ridley.
Yeah.
Well,
Actually, Ridley saw the Royal Air Force casualties with the eye injuries, and he observed that when the splinters of the acrylic plastic from the aircraft cockpit canopies became lodged in their eyes, and this did not actually trigger the inflammation. And that is what he got the idea and invented the acrylic IOLs, which even today, most of us are still using acrylic IOL. So it's a great contribution to this great innovator, Sir Harold Ridley. Okay.
And it was his student who suggested that why don't we put a lens in?
Very true. Okay, sir. Thank you, Shweta. So Priyanka, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
So the question is this: name this legendary ophthalmologist known mainly for his work on macular diseases. And what is the most commonly used classification? And third question is very, very simple. Most common cause of diminution of vision following cataract surgery. So that should give you a clue for this person.
Last is CME, sir, macular edema, and Dr. Best.
Pardon, doctor?
Best.
Best. Can you spell it?
Answer could have been better.
Dr. Best? Yeah, you should tell what's the
Better
correct answer, Priyanka.
Hubli Maryada
Sir,
Telangana
I
Priyanka.
can't- Sorry, sir, I can't hear you.
Not the best answer.
Not the best answer, right?
So the last one I know it is CME, sir. Most
Very
common.
good. CME, what is it called as? What's the syndrome associated with that?
Irwin Gas syndrome and his Irwin Gas, sir. Yes.
Very good. So take the last clue. What do we have? Irwin gas. I'm giving you a clue. Irwin gas.
Gas classifications
Very
of for macular holes, sir.
Very good. So he is nothing but Dr. Donald Gass. No, he's a Canadian ophthalmologist, and he's commonly known for the macular hole classification. And definitely what we see post-cataract surgery commonly is the CME, which is also called as Irwin Gas syndrome. Okay, good, Priyanka. A little bit of pushy here and there, but still it's okay. So Sarang, are you ready with the next question?
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. So let's go with the next question. Identify this ophthalmologist who won the only Nobel Prize in the field of ophthalmology. What was the
Sir,
Nobel
he's,
Prize given for? Mention the
Sir,
two
the Nobel
major
Prize.
Pardon?
Sorry, sir.
Yeah, go and mention the two major differences between his propositions and the real life situation in the eyes.
Sir, this is Dr. Granitz, and he got the Nobel Prize for electrophysiology of the eye.
Are you sure?
Some more guesses.
We use that machine, we use that equipment in our daily routine.
The
Without
previous
that, no ophthalmologist can actually see anything.
The previous answer was gas. This is guess.
Yeah, we use that routinely. We use it's like a kind of daily wear.
It's like a torch for us.
It's like a torch. Yes, magnified
So
torch.
many clues.
No, you don't need more
This
clues
was
than
the
that.
inventor of the slit lamps, sir.
Yeah, good.
Name,
who was
name.
he? A Swedish ophthalmologist. One more clue.
Name of a bird which flies. Seabird.
Done.
That is like a big, huge clue, sir. Sarang, you can't miss this.
A big white bird on the shores.
There's a book on it.
Okay, time is up. Is none other than Alvar Gullstrand, right? Is for the application of physical mathematics to the optics and refraction in the eye. And his eye considers as spherical and lenses have the uniform refractive index. But whereas in the real eyes, they are aspheric. And that's how the refractive indices are variable along the axial length of the eyes. So that is Alvar Gullstrand.
That's a
So
good
next
question,
we have
Srinivas.
Maria.
Because
Yes,
most
sir.
students will think that he got it for inventing this slit lamp. Actually, it is not for slit lamp.
Yes, for the application of physical mathematics to optics and refraction. He is the inventor of the slit lamp. Okay, so let's go ahead with Maria. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
We'll go ahead. So some part of history and some futuristic, both are very important. History as well as in the future. Name some specific retinal diseases where artificial intelligence is being used. What are the three basic fundamental divisions on which artificial intelligence is built? Of course, we have 2 bonus questions if you would like to put on. What equipments help monitor the retinal diseases? And most importantly, identify the movie and the name, actor and the actress in this.
Okay, so artificial intelligence is being used for diabetic retinopathy.
Okay,
Um,
good. Then,
so for hypertensive retinopathy,
okay. What are the major things we see in diabetic retinopathy other than diabetic retinopathy, which is number 2 cause of blindness in India, and which is number 1 cause of blindness in the world, and especially in the Western countries?
is it retinal dystrophies?
Dystrophy? Dystrophy is so common.
No, sorry.
Pressure rises.
Glaucoma.
You've given up.
So
You've given the
we
answer.
have the ARMD quantification also on this, and then on newborns also we use this. Where?
Retinopathy of prematurity.
Okay, go ahead. Next,
Yes.
3 basic fundamental divisions.
I have no idea about this.
Okay, so that is nothing but machine learning, deep learning, and neural networking. You need to know this, madam, because that is how the AI is built on. It's a very basic fundamental division on which artificial intelligence is progressing. Okay, if you can't answer the 3rd one, no problem. Go with the 4th one.
That you should do easily.
Which movie is this?
You'll be disqualified if you don't answer this.
Yes, Maria.
I don't know.
What's on the right
Rajinikanth
side?
is here.
What's on
Along
the right
with it,
side
we
of-
have. What is that?
On the
What
right
is that
side of
he's
the
repairing?
photograph.
Robot.
Yeah, so that's the
Yeah.
film Robot. And who
Okay.
is the heroine in this film?
Famous Tamil hero.
Beautiful, beautiful actress.
Rajinikanth, along with the
Name, actor and actress.
world famous.
Rajnikant. Okay.
No, I'm asking the actress.
Actress.
I'm giving you a clue. World famous.
Maria,
One-
you
Is it
didn't know who the
Aishwarya
actor
Rai?
was?
Yeah, so that's Miss World.
Yes.
It's nothing but who is had this thing coveted. This thing is Aishwarya Rai, and this is basically used by Notal Vision. No, that is the 3rd question. It usually takes up around 10 OCTs per day, and it shows us the disease specificity. It's a home-based OCT. It's called as Notal Vision, and it has a specificity up to 92%. So the patients need not come every month. You can just keep checking at home. If it's positive, if subretinal fluid or activity is there, it pings up the doctor. You can go and just take the intravitreal injections. So that's how advancement it's going to become in future. Okay, so we have.
I have a doubt here. Maria, did you miss the actor in this? You did?
Yes.
Do we have minus marks?
Disqualified.
We need to add it now.
That is the beautiful Rajinikanth and not so beautiful Aishwarya
And
Rai.
Maria, which part of India are you from?
I'm from Mumbai.
Oh.
Oh, ho, ho. Mumbai people can't afford to miss this. That's the capital of Bollywood. Okay, fine, no problem. So let's go with the next. Praneeth, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm ready, sir.
Okay, identify who are these great legendaries. So if it is difficult to see and name them, even if you ask me also later, I might not also be able to answer this, but that's why I have given you a clue of the fundus picture and the FFA picture as well. So identify these clinical conditions.
They look Japanese, no?
And there are 3 in number.
3.
Yes.
3 individuals.
Yes, Praneeth.
So it looks like vasculitis.
Amar Akbar Anthony. John Johnny Janardhan.
Hey, you can see the signature there, man. In the second photograph, it's written there.
Sir, it is a clinical picture of Vogt Koyanagi Harada disease.
Okay.
Here, Vogt
Your hints are no use here.
Okay. So we have
VKC.
the C1 is the Vogt. Then we have D is Koyanagi. And then we have Koyanagi is the B. And then we have Harada in the D. That's why I just, to just a little bit confuse you all, I just shifted it. But no problem. If you can name this Vogt Koyanagi Harada, that is good enough. What is
Even
this
if you
FFA
had changed
finding?
it, you would have not understood, no? Even if you had changed it, you would have not bothered. You would never make a difference.
Yes, sir.
What is the clinical picture?
Sir, FFA shows patchy fluorescence.
Mm-hmm. And what are the 3 extraocular manifestations of this disease?
Dermatological manifestations.
What's that?
Like poliosis.
Okay. So it's nothing but a what sign is this? Poliosis, alopecia, they are all dermal signs. Right?
Dermal signs.
And then other 2 systems involved. I'm telling you so loudly so that you should hear. Any ear problem?
Yes, sir. Sensory neural deafness.
Okay. Sensory neural hearing loss with tinnitus
And
and vertigo.
yes, sir. And also central nervous system.
Very good. So it might include nervous system as well with fever, headache, stiffness of the neck.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay, good. So the 2 subsets of the treatment quickly. Treatment. What do we do in case of VKH? Any of these syndromes? What we pump on them?
So we pump steroids in them, sir.
Good. So pulse steroids or
steroid
IVMP.
therapy.
Okay. Good. Okay. So next we have last 2. Priyadarshini, are you ready?
Priyadarshi, sir. Yeah.
Sorry, Priyadarshi, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Identify this pioneer and his contributions in the field of ophthalmology.
Kelman.
Very good. You hit it right. So that is Dr. Charles Kelman. And his
Phacoemulsification. Yeah.
Okay. Any other thing? It's known for the technique of the phacoemulsification in the cataract surgery. Other than that? So cold.
Lens something. Cold.
Cold.
Yeah, very cold.
Very cold.
Cryo.
Yeah. So he invented the cryo probe, which actually people used it in ICC and also we use it for
attachment surgery.
But he has cut a musical album also and he was a Broadway producer.
Yeah, yes. Good.
Okay.
Okay. So good, Priyadarshi. And we have the last question to Monica. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Good. So what's the diagnosis? What are the types? And mention 3 classical OCT signs. Leave the last question. What is that, Monica? What do we see there? So much of slides showing subretinal exudation, subretinal hemorrhage. We have a powdery kind of exudates. Yes? What kind of
toxoplasmosis?
No. What kind of subretinal hemorrhage? I'm giving you a clue. There's a massive subretinal hemorrhage. There is a massive subretinal exudation. Where do we see that? We see it most commonly in Asians. What is that? Okay, I'll tell you the diagnosis. It is PCV. Polypoidal choroidal vasculopathy.
Vasculopathy. Yeah.
Okay, so what are the types? If you can name it, and OCT signs, still you will get the marks. What are the types of PCV we have?
3 types, I think so.
Yeah, Go ahead. Okay, leave it. Go to the next question. OCT signs. Can you tell any of the OCT signs? Double layer. Okay, fine. So that's exudative, hemorrhagic, and mixed kind. There are three types, and we have tall peaked PEDs, or we have DLS, thumb-shaped, notched PEDs. So DLS is nothing but double layer sign. Okay, so here we come to the end of round one. So I hope the judges have already scored the marks for these candidates. So let's quickly move on to round two. Before that, any comments from Madhukar sir?
No, I think they are doing well, having fun.
Okay, great. Thank you, sir. We'll move on to round two. So the first question goes again to Shweta Ji. The discussant for this will be Dr. Pradeep Swarup sir. The question here it goes. A 55-year-old patient had RK done 30 years back, radial keratotomy done 30 years back. He has now developed cataract. So how would you proceed? So a 55-year-old patient had done RK done, radial keratotomy done 30 years back. He has now developed cataract. So how will you proceed with this patient? Over to you, Shweta. And I request discussant Dr. Pradeep Swarup sir to please quiz her and give us some clues if required.
Okay, Shweta.
Yes, sir.
You know what is RK?
Yes, sir. Radial keratotomy.
Yes. Those people who got it done 20, 30 years ago are now coming back for cataract surgery. How will you proceed? How will you manage them? What are the precautions you take?
We have seen the normal topography, sir. Topography is needed in these conditions, and proper biometry should be taken. And we should look for if there is any because of healing, there might be an irregular astigmatism. So we might want to take the incision along the steep axis, and if required, toric IOLs may be prescribed.
What type of eye is this that you're going to operate upon? What type of eye is it?
So this is a post refractive error eye. So the IOL calculation would be different.
It will be a myopic eye.
Myopic
in all
eye.
probability. So you have to be aware of that first, right? How will you take the K readings in this case? Calculate the, how will you go ahead with the IOL power calculation?
By Haig's L formula, sir.
Pardon?
Haig's L formula, sir, is used.
How will you do the K reading in this case? How much area you don't touch when doing an RK? What is the area, central area that is left behind?
Central area of 5 mm is left, sir. 3 to 5 mm is left.
Usually 3 mm, and it's not possible to do a regular K reading there. So what are the other methods you use to do to determine the K reading?
Methods. Use an op scan, sir.
Okay. How will you go about with the surgical technique? What are the precautions you will take? What is the problem that you expect when you operate such a patient?
The wound can reopen, sir.
All right, good. So, what about the anesthesia? What anesthesia would you like to give in such a case?
Topical, sir.
Topical. And what about an ocular massage?
Ocular massage is not advised, sir, ideally.
These are the points which I was looking for from you.
Yes.
Okay. Now, how about the surgical technique? What will you do? Or where will you give your incision? And what are the things you expect?
So we'll prefer SICS than phaco, sir.
Okay, suppose where will you give the incision? And the sclera. Okay. If you're doing a phaco, where will you give the incision then?
Cleared corneal incision.
Where will you place it?
Peripherally.
You will place it between two incisions.
Oh, yes, sir. Between two
And you
incisions.
have to be prepared that they might open up. And
Okay,
if they open up, you might have to suture them also.
Yes, sir.
Right? And
Yes.
during surgery, you always be prepared that the eye might be myopic.
Okay.
So what do you expect then during surgery? In a myopic eye, what are the problems that you anticipate during phaco surgery? Okay, is the time up?
Ready, sir. Retinal detachment, sir. Macular edema, retinal detachment are more common.
During surgery. Pre-op evaluation is very important to rule out any problem related to myopia. And during surgery, you might have a deep chamber as you have in myopic
Deep
eyes.
chamber, yes.
You've got to be prepared for all these things before you go ahead with your surgery. Okay.
Okay, thank you, Pradeep sir. So nice of you. Thank you for those vital points. So we'll go ahead with the next participant, who is Priyanka.
Yes, sir.
Priyanka, are you ready?
Yes, sir.
So here is your question, Priyanka. Patient with a painless progressive proptosis in a 36-year-old female, past 2 months. Visual acuity is counting fingers 2 meters. Patient has RAPD, mild disc edema in the proptosed eye. Rest ocular examinations are normal. What do you think is the diagnosis and how do you proceed? Painless progressive proptosis, 36-year-old female, since 2 months. Visual acuity is counting fingers 2 meters. Patient also has RAPD, mild disc edema in the proptosed eye. Rest of the ocular examinations are normal. What do you think is the diagnosis and how would you proceed it?
So first thing I would like to know if it is only. So can I start, sir?
Yeah, sure. So
Yes.
Dr. KP will be moderating this question. KP sir, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Priyanka.
Yes, sir. So first thing, when a patient with a proptosis comes, I would like to see for the age, and then if it is an axial proptosis or it is an eccentric proptosis, I would like to evaluate. Based on that, I would see the site from which it's called. So I would localize the lesion. So since it is not mentioned here, and since it is said that it is painless and it is slowly progressive, I would like to go in terms of it either a tumor or in
It is not slowly progressive. Priyanka, wait, it's just 2 months history the patient is giving. Okay, it's just a
Okay,
2 month history.
So since it is, yes, sir.
No, basically you may not be able to clinch the diagnosis with this. You have to probably make some preposition. Like you probably have to think what kind of etiology it belongs. Is it, inflammation? Is it infection?
Yes.
Is it neoplastic? Okay, so basically, what do you think is this? In neoplastic, it will be benign, malignant. So would you like to
Sir.
come to that diagnosis first?
Yes, sir. So I would rule out infections in this case because one thing is it is painless and it is not subacute acute onset. So I would like to think of either inflammatory or neoplastic, or it can be a malignant which has been long standing and sudden progression. So these three I would like to consider, sir. So since it is involving, since there is RAPD, I would like to think in terms of if it is involving the optic nerve, either an internal compression or an external compression. So I would like to think of optic nerve gliomas, optic nerve meningiomas, or the mass outside in the central compressing the optic nerve, which is causing RAPD or and mild disc edema, sir, and drastic vision loss. So then I would go forward by measuring the values. Like I would like to evaluate for the proptosis in this thing, sir. I would like to evaluate the other eye as well to check for if there is any involvement of the other eye or if it is a unilateral presentation.
Let us
Then
say
I
we'll
would
do a
like
CT scan. Wait. We'll do a CT scan. You find a diffuse mass filling the intracorneal compartment, the medial part of the orbit, including the ethmoid sinuses. What will you think this is?
So either it can be a ethmoidal mass, either it can be ethmoiditis or it can be
Ethmoiditis causing intracorneal diffuse mass and compression.
So I mean, no, sir. I would rule out ethmoiditis. I'm sorry for that. I would go in terms of intracorneal masses like optic nerve glioma or meningiomas.
Optic nerve glioma in a patient of middle-aged lady. Optic nerve glioma. Optic nerve glioma is a disease of childhood. Okay, so it probably, as you said, it could be a neoplastic or maybe malignant, maybe a lymphoma, maybe a malignant neoplasm de novo, or it could be fungal. You are seeing a lot of mucar pandemic now, no? Second
Yes.
epidemic.
So,
So it could be fungus.
Yes, sir. It can be a fungus, sir. It can involve the sinus. It can be involving the orbit also, sir.
Okay.
So I can even I will think in terms of mucor also, sir. Mucor
Thank you,
myosis.
Priyanka. That's it. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Priyanka, you are arriving at the diagnosis very well. All the best to you. So others, I
Thank you,
request to buckle up because she's scoring slightly more. So I'm sure that rest of you will definitely catch it up very soon with her. So let's go ahead with the next question we have is for Sarang. Sarang, are you there?
Sure.
So, okay, Sarang. So here comes your next question. Simple question, but we'll see how will you arrive and how do you differentiate between the conditions. Post-cataract surgery, day 1, patient presented to you with pain, congested eye, and corneal edema. So what would be your diagnosis and how would you proceed? And what are the differential diagnoses? Somshila, madam? Yes. Go ahead, Sarang. Post-cataract surgery, day 1.
Hi, sir.
Presented to
Yes.
you with
Hi,
pain.
Sarang. Am I audible, Srinivas?
Yes, madam. But in
Srinivas,
between
am
the
I
voice was
audible?
very feeble. In between the voice was very feeble. Okay, go ahead, Sarang.
Since this is only post day 1 from surgery, this could be endophthalmitis, but I would like to also think of toxic anterior segment syndrome or think of a descemet membrane detachment.
Descemet membrane detachment will have pain. Madhukar sir, you can also pitch in, please.
Yes. Yeah, Descemet's membrane does detachment won't
Okay.
have pain or swelling. Somshila, go ahead.
Okay, sir.
Is it better now?
It's better, slightly better now.
Sir, should I proceed, sir?
Yeah,
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah, you keep talking.
Sir, it could be post-operative inflammation with the rise in intraocular pressure.
Okay. Other than that?
Or it could be toxic anterior segment syndrome.
Okay. Why do you say that it is STAS?
So because immediately on day 1 post-op surgery, there's corneal edema, signs of inflammation, red eye. I would like to still rule out endophthalmitis, but
So,
also think of
Sarang,
these other
can
differentials.
you hear me?
Sorry, ma'am.
I think my connection is poor.
Yeah, we'll take over, Somshila. Yeah, Sarang, go ahead. I mean, basically, differential diagnosis 1 and 2. Let's discuss between 1 and 2. What is your primary diagnosis?
So the primary diagnosis would be post-operative
All
rise in
right.
intraocular pressure due to inflammation. But I would also rule out endophthalmitis and look for signs of.
Pressure is normal.
So then I would like to see whether there's how the wound is, whether the wound leak is there, whether signs
How
of
do you explain the
vitreous
corneal
leak.
edema, Saran?
Go ahead, Saran.
Sir, I'd like to look for whether there's any dehiscence or non-closure of the corneal incision or the scleral incision. Do a B scan to check for vitritis. Also check for if there's any gross flare in the antechamber hypopyon, and see the degree of vision loss and whether the red reflex can be seen or not. If these things are not there and the edema is from limbus to limbus, I would not think of endophthalmitis straight away, but maybe keep a very close watch on this patient and follow up within 2 or 3 days.
What is the treatment you recommend?
Sir, I would continue with the current treatment, maybe increase the steroids if I've ruled out infection then. And if there is infection, then looking at the degree of vitritis, red reflex loss, decide between a vitrectomy, pars plana vitrectomy, or intravitreal antibiotics.
There is corneal edema. How will you diagnose vitritis? How will you look for vitritis?
Sir, I'll do a B scan, sir.
Very good. So B scan is definitely comes to like a savior in these kind of thing. And if there is a vitritis post-segment involvement, I liked your first answer which you said. I would first think of endophthalmitis. So that should always be the thing. First, always it should be think of endophthalmitis first, and then comes the rest of the thing. Because stars can usually be cured with the stepping up of steroids, but endophthalmitis is not. In fact, it worsens with the steroids. So endophthalmitis has to be always kept in your mind.
Yes.
Madhukar sir, any last question you want to ask?
No, I think he did well. I mean, his basics are good.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good, Saran. So we have the next discussant is Maria. Next student is Maria. Are you there, Maria?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Maria, here's the question to you. A 10-month-old child with unilateral cataract, 10-month-old child who has unilateral cataract. So how would you proceed in this case?
Okay.
Yes, Maria, come on.
Yes.
Now you had a problem with Rajinikanth, but not with this cataract, right?
Yes, sir. So first I would like to know if how much of the visual acuity is the cataract occluding? Is it just small, which is not really affecting his visual acuity, or is it completely obscuring his visual acuity? Also, since it's unilateral, it would most probably lead to an amblyopia, so that should be kept in mind. Also, systemic examination should be done because there will be a systemic association for congenital cataract. And
Wait,
also,
one minute. Do you think for a unilateral cataract there will be a systemic association, or is it for a bilateral cataract?
Yes, sorry, sir. Yes. So yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, and then the parents should also be screened.
Parents for cataract?
Congenital. Because sometimes these cataracts can be hereditary in nature, so it's important to screen the parents as well.
No. We are worried about the management here. We have only 4 minutes. Let us cut the crap. Let's go to the management. If there are 10-month-old child with a unilateral, visually significant cataract, now do something quickly.
So now I'll go ahead and perform a lens aspiration. I'd like to plan the patient for a cataract surgery and go ahead and perform a lens aspiration with an intraocular lens implantation. And also for these patients, we also perform a posterior capsulotomy to prevent any visual, later on development of a visual opacity.
You mean for a 10-month-old child, IOL is okay for you? How do you justify that? what parameters in the eye you measure before you plan for an eyeball implantation, apart from the age of the child?
Usually under 2 years, it's preferred not to put an intraocular lens because after 2 years is when the eye develops the adult size. However, because of risk of amblyopia, we can put an intraocular lens.
No.
And if we are not putting an intraocular lens, we prefer giving these patients contact lenses for visual rehabilitation. Even while putting an intraocular lens, we have to make sure that the size of the intraocular lens is not the adult size. It should be smaller than the adult size. And also during the intraocular power calculation, we have to keep in mind certain parameters. We have to do the modification, like Inimidis formula should be used, or suggested by Dr. Dahan, which is 20. We should reduce it by 20. The IOL should be reduced by 20%.
20%. You mean in this patient, let us say you have a 40 diopter lens, that is requirement. Okay, 40 diopter lens is a requirement. How much of lens power you'll be putting? You're doing a quick math?
Yeah, but then it will come up to almost about 30 diopter.
Huh? 32.
32, yes.
But then the child will be hyperopic by 8 diopters immediately after surgery. Do you think that will not cause amblyopia?
Yes, it will.
What is the point of giving? And final question for you, what is the minimum corneal diameter by which you decide to put a normal intraocular lens in this eye?
The corneal diameter should be more than 10 millimeters.
10 millimeters in a 10 months old child. It is actually 9 millimeters. If it is less than 9, then you cannot use the routine intraocular lenses. If it is 9 millimeters or more, then you can use the routinely available intraocular lenses. Thank you, Monica. Thank you. That was good.
I'm Maria, sir. Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay,
Okay,
that is Maria. So please don't mark Maria's marks to Monica and Monica's to Maria, because of course they both are very talented girls. But definitely we need to know who is the best amongst all. So, okay, so we'll go ahead with the next question. Praneeth, are you there?
Yes, sir. I'm here, sir.
Okay, so we'll go with your question, Praneeth. An 8-month-old child with white reflex. Simple question, but how will you arrive at the various diagnosis and how would you proceed in this case? I request Fairuz ma'am to please discuss this case. You are muted, ma'am. Okay, Praneeth.
Hi, Praneeth.
Hi, ma'am.
Yeah, it's a very direct question, not too difficult.
Yes, ma'am. We would like to rule out all the differential diagnosis of leukocoria. And at 8 months of age, we would like to start with retinoblastoma, then Coats disease, PHPV. And in these cases, we would proceed by starting to do a B scan initially, then followed by examination under anesthesia. And ma'am, it could also be a cataract.
Yes, so differential diagnosis, how would you want to go? Definitely retinoblastoma, Coats, excellent. So you would want to add cataract with PHPV also.
Yes, ma'am.
So these are called the pseudoretinoblastomas.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? So you ultrasound, yes, it is definitely a good diagnostic tool. Before you even go to ultrasound, what are the things that you would want to know about the child?
Ma'am, I would like to know about the history, like from when the child has started developing the white reflex. Is it by birth or is it started developing gradually? Then
how does it help you to give a clinical idea about the case? The age of onset, basically.
Age of onset, yes, ma'am.
Age of onset, what tells you? Like, the child presented with a white reflex in one eye, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But if the child has, the parents said that it has been there at a very young age, 1 month or 2 months, they saw this white spot which has been growing. What is the clue that gives you?
Ma'am, it can also go in favor of retinopathy of prematurity.
Okay.
At 1 month of age.
Would it be unilateral or there is a possibility of bilaterality?
There is a possibility of bilaterality, ma'am, in case
Younger
of
the
material
child,
deficiency.
right? Yeah.
Yes,
Okay. Okay. Then anything else in the history which is very important?
History of consanguinity, ma'am,
Okay.
and history of retinoblastoma in the family.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. After that, then you go for a clinical evaluation.
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
I know it's very difficult to examine a child in the clinic, but what are the things that you would want to roughly know about the case, so that you can plan further?
Ma'am, systemic examination of the child.
Okay.
And then I would like to go ahead with like examination under anesthesia. ma'am.
Okay. You said that you would do the B scan also, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What are you looking for in the B scan? What
Ma'am,
is
you're
the
looking for
classical? Yeah.
retinoblastoma, ma'am.
Okay. So how do you differentiate between a Coats and a retinoblastoma in a B scan or a PHPV in a B scan?
There are specks of calcification seen, ma'am,
Yes. In where?
in retinoblastoma.
In retinoblastoma, yeah. So basically you're looking for specks of calcification. And
Yes,
how
ma'am.
does it appear in ultrasound?
It is hyperechoic, ma'am,
Hyperechoic.
with
Yeah?
shadowing.
Correct. Shadowing?
Shadowing post the calcification.
Okay, so it's basically an hyperreflective, hyperechoic lesion, intraocular lesion, right? Yeah, that
Yes,
will give you a clue. Okay, now what do? You go for an EUA.
Yes, ma'am.
Correct. What is EUA?
Examination under
Yes,
anesthesia.
please, yeah. So what are the things that you would look for? The child is there. Okay, so you are there, your consultant is there. So how do you proceed with the examination?
Is starting with the size of the globe, then the corneal size, then
Why is corneal size important?
to rule out nanophthalmos. ma'am.
Nanophthalmos in retinoblastoma?
No, not retinoblastoma.
Yeah. What indicates, I mean, what are you expecting? Why are you checking the corneal size?
Checking for ophthalmos, ma'am, basically.
Basically, correct, right? So you're looking with the corneal diameter, you're checking whether there is a
Ophthalmos.
possibility of a
Congenital
secondary glaucoma,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Secondary glaucoma.
Secondary
Okay.
glaucoma.
So you start with the cornea. Then what else do you look for?
Then we look for intraocular pressure, ma'am.
Okay.
Then because the media is then we would like to go ahead for gonioscopy. And
Okay. So what are the causes of secondary glaucoma in retinoblastoma?
could be a seeding into the anterior segment, ma'am,
Okay.
or it could be either the increased pressure by the mass
Mhm.
pushing the eyeball forward. ma'am.
Angle closure, right? Yeah, retinal
Angle
detachment,
closure, ma'am.
pushing, yeah. Most importantly, anything else that you would look for into the iris?
Neovascularization of the
Neovascular glaucoma, right? Yeah, so that is also very, very good. Excellent. I'm so proud of you, Praneeth. Yeah.
Thank you.
And yeah, so that is what you look in the anterior segment. So it's very important what Praneeth has, said is even anterior segment evaluation is so important in retinoblastoma, right? Yeah. Now posteriorly, okay. So what is the classification that you know of retinoblastoma?
Madam, can we just ask one more and just
Oh, wrap it up? Okay, fine. Okay, all right.
over?
What is the classification of retinoblastoma that you know?
ICRB classification, ma'am.
Okay. How is it classified?
Classified based on the extent.
No, just tell me how it is. Is it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or how is the ICRB?
It is from 1 to 5, ma'am.
1 to 5, ICRB.
No, that is no, ma'am. This is from ABCDE.
Grouping. Okay. What is the newest classification? Good. You're good. What is the newest classification?
I'm not able to recollect the name of the classification, ma'am, but in that classification, it is from 1 to 5, stage 1 to stage 5.
Okay.
I think
Shantada's,
this is
that
the
is staging
Shields
system.
calculus.
That is Shantada's staging system. We have the TNMH classification also.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
One last question for you. He has been doing really well, huh? Now, one last question. Which is the Indian movie which won national award for retinoblastoma? Otherwise, I'll ask Maria. If you
Marathi
know.
movie. Breath is the clue. Breath.
Shwas.
What?
Shwas.
Super. Excellent.
It was there in the quiz previously.
Acha, it was there. I didn't know it.
Okay.
Excellent.
Thank you, Fairuzman, for those excellent discussion. Thank you, Praneeth. We'll move on to last two candidates before we move on to the exciting last round. So the next question is will be discussed by Dr. Digvijay. A patient with 20 years of diabetes. Priyadarshi, please listen carefully. A patient with 20 years of diabetes with mild NPDR and cataract. Patient wants multifocal IOL. Patient counsel many things, but patient want multifocal IOL. So how would you counsel and proceed? Would you put in a multifocal IOL? If yes, why? If not, why? Go ahead. I invite Dr. Digvijay also.
Okay, sir. Shall I start, sir?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
So since because it is a 20-year-old male with 20-year of history of diabetes, mild NPDR with cataract. So if first thing first, I need to look at the anti-segment examination. The cataract is dense enough that I cannot examine the retina. If I have two scenarios, if I can examine the retina, well and good, I will have to see if it is mild NPDR with CSME or without CSME. Secondly, if the cataract is dense enough and I cannot commensurate as to whether it has macular edema or not, I will have to go with first removal of the cataract and then plan it out. And since because the patient now wants a multifocal IOL, I cannot, since he will be over enthusiastic and he will be demanding patient. So I will not counsel him for the multifocal IOL because he has a posterior segment pathology also, which might affect the final visual outcome of the patient.
I would like to ask you one thing. So first of all, is there a contraindication for a multifocal IOL in a diabetic retinopathy, or can you use it? So we'll focus this about the IOL rather than ability to see the retina or not, because we know it's a mild NPDR. Okay. So is there an absolute contraindication or a soft contraindication or a relative contraindication?
It is a relative contraindication.
So first of all, it's not an absolute contraindication.
It's not an absolute contraindication. Yes.
All right. And why is it that it is a relative contraindication? Why is it that what do multifocal IOLs do that it's not suitable for somebody with, let's say, a diabetic retinopathy or a posterior segment pathology?
So it decreases the contrast, since contrast will not be good. And since because there's a possibility of having a macular edema. Multifocal IOLs have two or multiple focuses, which focuses the beams at the posterior pole or the macula. If the macula itself, the posterior pole is not healthy, I would not be, I'll not be happy with putting a multifocal IOL in that patient, sir.
Right. Anything else?
So multifocal IOLs also have, they are also pupillary dependent. So suppose in diabetes, the pupil constriction and this will not, there are pupillary transillumination defects and pupil constriction and dilatation are also affected in diabetes. And moreover, since
right. So
the
typically as
patient
NPDR on its own will not.
Okay. Sir.
NPDR on its own is not creating a macular problem as of now, but you're right. In the future, it could be a potential that somebody who's having a diabetes likely could go into a worse maculopathy in the future.
Yes, okay. Operating a patient of a cataract with diabetes, he might land up with pseudophakic CME. So that will also hinder that. It is a predisposing factor of having a pseudophakic CME. The CME or the diabetic macular edema increases after a cataract surgery. There's a chance of it. So giving him a multifocal IOL and then not getting the desired result, it is not a very, depending, I'll have to do a OCT and classify if it is really.
So if you're counseling him and somebody is going to be spending a fair amount, you understand there is a difference. So is that also a factor that can come into play?
Yes, sir, it is also a factor that comes into play because he will be demanding a patient. He is spending such amount of money and then he is not getting the desired vision which he is aiming for. So I think that will also be a factor in deciding whether to go with this. I mean, to plan a multifocal IOL or a single piece IOL for this patient or not.
Right. Now,
Oh,
multifocal IOLs are tuned to, focus specifically looking at the fovea or the macula.
Yes.
If there is a macular scar in the future or something else that it develops, so you have to laser some areas and it develops an eccentric fixation point, do you think that can also be something that may become a problem
Yes,
with multifocal IOLs?
Yes, sir. That will also be a problem, sir.
So can you explain to me very briefly,
Yes,
what
sir.
is the principle on which multifocal IOLs work? How do multifocal IOLs work?
So there are two kind of IOLs, diffractive IOL and accommodative IOLs.
Oh, well, there's another word that we need to add there.
Diffractive and diffractive, sir. With
The first
apodization and diffractive IOLs, yes, sir.
Okay, how do diffractive IOLs work? What do they do?
So diffractive IOLs work on the basis of apodization, sir. There are different planes of it in the IOL from center to the periphery with varying steps of apodization, sir. In diffractive IOLs.
Dr.
The second form is, let's say, the refractive IOL. That work.
And we go with the last
So in the refractive, there are two components. It could be a bullseye type of IOL where different the circle areas of the IOL have a different power depending upon, and these depend on the pupil, sir. If the pupil size is in the daylight or in the night vision or in the mid dilated state, depending upon which will suit, which will be more used during a part of doing a work. For example, night driving or in the morning vision. That depends on that, sir. Accommodative IOLs.
Okay, thanks. Well done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Dr. Digvijay and Priyadarshi. So we'll go ahead with the last question of this final round. Monica, are you there? Monica? Monica, are you there?
Hello, sir. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes.
Here's your question quickly. A 70-year-old patient comes with 6/6 N6 vision in one eye and HSV keratitis corneal scar in the other with a poor rural background. But it's a quiet eye with a vision of counting finger 1 meter. What would you advise to this patient? Discussion, Dr. Madhukar Reddy, sir.
Yeah. Monica, I'm just trying to assess how should we counsel our patients and what should we offer them. So it's not an exam question or something. It's more like an ethical or you're looking from the patient-centric point of view. So what would be your response? What would you like to do for such patient?
As there is a corneal scar, first we have to assure about the vision, sir, in the other eye. He might not be affordable for the keratoplasty and all. If it is in the central part, I mean, as he is not affordable for the keratoplasty, we have to assure about the vision, that whatever vision he is having, he have to be satisfied with that. Other than that, in the other eye, we have to look for any uveitis signs also, sir. Probably this HSV might, I mean, after some time it may progress and all. That signs we have to see in the other eye, sir. If there is any immune suppression in that way.
Other eye means you mean the better eye?
Better eye, sir. Worst eye also we have to examine, sir, and the other eye also we have to follow up for the any signs of HSV reinfection and all, sir.
Okay. He's a 70-year-old, and what are the chances of bilateral HSV corneal, keratitis? Approximately, what is the percentage? How many people in the community will have bilateral HSV keratitis?
Probably 60%.
It's way far ahead. So it's about 10% who can have a bilateral keratitis. So right now at the age of 70, it's unlikely to affect the other eye, but already he has a scar in one eye. And suppose if it's active, what would you do? Suppose if it's active keratitis, what would be your line of treatment?
If it is an active keratitis, I would go to the antiviral, sir. Like 3% acyclovir eye ointment for 5 times for 2 weeks, followed with the acyclovir eye drops, sir. And I will go with the antibiotic eye drops also, like moxifloxacin.
Just wait a minute, slowly. So you said acyclovir eye drops. Do we have acyclovir eye drops?
Oh, sorry, sir. No. Ointment, sir.
Okay.
Tablet.
Okay.
Tablet acyclovir, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Depending upon the severity, we can put it as 800 mg BD for 3 days, sir. Followed by, if it is getting rigorous, we can go up to 400 mg BD, sir. And followed by atropine ointment and timolol eye drops and antibiotic eye drops, sir, like moxifloxacin or ciprofloxacin, and TS substitutes, and to relieve pain, any NSAIDs and all, sir. Vitamin C also.
Okay, fine. Madhukar sir?
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. Thank you, Monica, and thank you, Madhukar.
Thank you, sir.
So here we come to the final round of the SOTI. It's a very important round. Come on, cheer up. Majority of you all have done wonderfully well. So we'll go ahead with the final round. Over to Dr. KP sir. First, we'll ask the question to Maria. So this is totally a non-ophthalmic. Now quizzing is over. Now let's try to see the other part of Maria. Over to KP sir, quickly, and we'll have only 2 to 3 minutes per student.
Okay, Maria,
Yes, sir.
are you married?
No, sir.
Oh, good. So now the question probably very befitting you. Now, would you like to choose a spouse from the same specialty in ophthalmology? Or would you like to choose a spouse from a different specialty, unrelated specialty? And for both the answers, I want to know why.
I would prefer to have a spouse from the same specialty. And that would be because I believe that probably there'd be many things that we can share. I'd be able to discuss what I face.
That creates problems, you know. If you discuss ophthalmology in a dining table, it creates problems.
Probably yes, but then there'll be
You
many
think
more.
that your husband will be a VR surgeon and lift all the nuclear that you drop? No. Because he has to do it free of cost.
No, that's not the reason why. But then just I feel there's a lot of things that I would be able to share. So
But sharing creates problems. Don't you think so?
From your point of view, KP.
Okay, you want to do anterior segment or posterior segment?
Anterior segment, sir.
So were your husband to be posterior segment?
I haven't thought about. Yes, probably.
Then what's the point of sharing? That is what sharing, right? Sharing the problems. Endophthalmitis, nucleus drop. What else?
But one thing is clear, she is always in front of her husband.
Not here, everywhere they are in front.
Yeah, so that is very clear, Maria. I like it.
Okay. Right, Maria. All the best. Let's look
Thank
for
you.
a very good, a bright VR surgeon soon. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Maria. And now I request Dr. Fairuz, to please ask a question to Priyanka. Priyanka, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Hi, Priyanka.
Hello.
So, hi. Yeah, few personal questions. Where are you from? Where are you studying?
Now I am in Hyderabad, ma'am. I'm in Sarojini Devi Eye Hospital.
Okay, okay. So which specialty would you choose and why?
I would like to do anterior segment, ma'am. Actually, in fact, I like the posterior segment as well. I would like to have a broader approach because as per my family, we want to start a self setup. So depending upon the infrastructure as well as what we earn in few years, I would like to go for instrumentation and all that takes money. So if we can afford, I'll go for anterior segment. Otherwise, probably
in anterior segment makes more money. That's why KP is, I think Srinivas is more richer than KP, sir.
No,
ma'am, I would not like to burden my
amongst the judges and the anchors.
All right, so it's basically monetary benefit.
Welcome, Amla hai.
Yeah, welcome.
No, ma'am. The thing is, I don't want to burden my family with the loan or something like that. I would like to earn for a few years and then start a new setup. So based on my earning, I would like to choose what to for the instrumentation and how to set up the new hospital.
Priyanka, you're a Hubli girl. You are most welcome to MM Joshi Institute.
Thank you, sir.
Priyanka, given a choice to take a loan, would you prefer to take it from a father or father-in-law?
Sir, I would not like to take it from both of them, sir, because they have done enough.
Pardon?
Father is not called loan. Father is not called loan.
Sir, I would. Sir, if you not like to take it from both of them, sir, because they have had their share of, putting on us and making us grow and all that. So probably I would like to be independent in that front.
Okay, super. So Priyanka,
or take a loan on my own name.
So what do you think is the most strongest trait that you have in you, which will help?
Pardon, ma'am, I didn't understand.
The strongest and the best trait that you have in you that will make you a good clinician in your profession.
I have empathy, ma'am. I mean, like no matter what, if I feel lazy, also if a patient is waiting, or if if they come from a far distance or something, I don't mind spending a few hours for them rather than going back and enjoying. So I think that will help me move forward.
That's what you think is your greatest trait.
Yes,
and I totally agree with you. Empathy is something that we all should carry with us. So nice of you. One last question for you. I'm sure, like, you're married?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you will have a child.
Yes, ma'am, I'm married.
Yeah. So would you want to, your child to be a doctor or something else? If yes, why? And if no, why?
I wouldn't restrict my mind like that, ma'am, because for me, it's like I come from a middle class background. So I dreamt to be a doctor, and my parents they're not from a medical background. So they support me till now. So the thing is, once you have passion towards something, probably that will push you forward, and no matter how hard the life.
I'm talking about your child. Would you?
So I would like to inculcate the same habits, ma'am. I would like to leave my child to choose their own field of interest.
Okay, perfect. And what do you do apart from ophthalmology? What are you best in? I'm sure you're really good. All the question and answer, you are one of my topper here. So what else are you best in other than ophthalmology? Last question.
I'm good at painting, ma'am. I'm good at painting. I usually paint a lot, and then I'm good at dancing. Probably I'm good at drama as well.
Nice. So you're a trained dancer?
So yeah. Yeah, I'm culturing very much. Yes, ma'am, I'm Bharatanatyam dancer.
Super.
I've been for 5-6 years, but now I'm not getting that much, time to do that. But yeah, I love to do it.
Super.
Great.
Nice knowing you.
He gets extra marks for that from parents, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful, Priyanka.
Thank you.
Then we have now Shweta G. Pradeep sir.
Okay.
Your question to Shweta G.
Where is Shweta?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I can't see you here. Anyway, let me just change.
Sir, can you hear me, sir? Hello?
I can hear. Yeah, now I can see you.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Now, I want to know, when you start your practice, would you prefer group practice or individual practice, and why?
Sir, I think I would prefer group practice, sir. So, so that I can refer. My friends would be there and we could discuss cases and I could refer, and I think that's a better setup, sir. It's an interdisciplinary approach.
Okay. And
Yes,
how do you plan to manage your work-life balance?
Sir, like any other person, sir.
No, a lot of people just work.
Any other person? Would you like to have a work-life balance like Dr. KP here or Dr. Santosh Honavar?
yeah, you've got two different sides of the spectrum here.
Sir, yes, sir. Work is important, career is important, as well as personal life. So maybe if I am going to for a fellowship or something, I would like my better half to take care of the family. And if he is going, then I would take care of family. I think it is 50-50, sir. There should be effort from both sides.
And both of you will not go out together.
Yes, sir. After a few years, yes.
Okay, you better go in the beginning, otherwise you'll never get to go together. Any other hobbies that you have? Interests, hobbies,
Yes, sir.
passion?
I was a state level swimmer. I paint. I've been in basketball and football teams in both college as well as in school. Yes, sir. Here and 2 little tracks I do, athletics.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like to tell us about yourself?
Myself, sir. I think I'm helpful, sir. I think I'm sometimes too kind.
Just say, sir, I deserve the student of the year, sir.
Why sometimes, Shweta? Why are you only sometimes kind?
Because, ma'am, I think I should sometimes I should say no when I think it's too much for me, but then I don't do that.
Okay.
So yeah, sometimes
You have a cardiomegaly. You have a big Okay, good. Shweta.
Okay.
Right, Pradeep sir, are we done or?
I'm done.
Okay, great. So next I would like to, we have a special guest here, Dr. Santosh Honavar.
Okay.
I would request Dr. Santosh Honavar sir to please ask your question to Priyadarshi. Priyadarshi, are you there?
Yes, I am there.
Yeah. Okay. Honavar sir.
Good evening, sir.
Unmute, sir. Kindly unmute.
Priyadarshi, hi. I haven't heard most of the discussions that have been happening. I just joined now.
Good evening, sir.
Anyways, good evening. So, where would you like to be in 5 years, 10 years from now? Not in terms of place, but profession.
In your place.
In next 5 years, I am seeing myself as a vitreoretinal surgeon, and I would like to have all the possible degrees in my next 5 years, because this is my learning age time. So I'm aiming for all those. Apart from MS, I'm aiming for my DNBs, FICO, FRCOs. I have already cleared 1 or 2 steps of almost all of them. So in next 5 years, in next 2 to 3 years, by the age of 30, I'm planning to get away with all the degrees which I want to have and the fellowships. And then after that, I'm planning to practice vitreoretinal surgery in future.
So do you think all the weight of all these degrees matters finally, all the 4-letter degrees?
I am not very kind of a degree person, sir. I prefer to have more of an experience, sir. So degrees is just for sense, because at some point of the time in a private sector or in a metropolitan city, these 4-letter words matter. But at the end of the day, your skill set is what is all required when you are dealing with any patient for that matter.
That is true. So do you want to spend a lot of money getting these 4-letter degrees or 3-letter degrees? You know, you're MS, you're qualified, you can practice, you can do a fellowship. But beyond that, do you want to spend all that money and time and energy acquiring all these degrees, or do you think it's okay not to acquire?
Sir, since I am still around 26, 27, so I still have time till 30. I was already clear in my mind that by the age of 30, I should have whatever I wanted academically. So even if I have to spend something a bit for these degrees, I would like to do that by the age of 30. After that, I'm not going to spend anything on degree part of it stuff. And degree, along with degree, I want to develop all the confidence to do the surgeries which I want to do and gain the confidence in them, sir. And post 30, I want to, settle with all the skills and then help the people out there.
Okay, suppose you did not want to do VR and you just wanted to be a comprehensive ophthalmologist. Do you think what you learned during your residency is enough, or fellowship is mandatory?
I think it is enough. If I want to be a comprehensive ophthalmologist, I am doing my graduation from Maulana Azad Medical College, and Guru Nanak Eye Center is the eye setup which we have. So here the exposure and stuff is pretty good, and I cannot comment about the other colleges and stuff. But as far as my college and my this setup is concerned, I am pretty much confident in the anterior segment stuff and the comprehensive ophthalmologist.
Last question: why do you think you deserve the Student of Year award?
Student of the Year award, I deserve it because I am confident. I have the leadership qualities and I deserve it as far as I
So
can
confidence
consider
and
myself.
leadership qualities will get it, right? So we should give it to a politician who are obviously they're very confident and have leadership qualities. Student
Not
of the Year, just because of confidence and leadership qualities, or do you think there are other attributes?
the skill set and the mentality, the whole, as the score sheet says, it is a amalgamation of all those 5 qualities which you are marking right now. So I believe the wholehearted effort and the comprehensive effort is what the student will get that Student of the Year.
Okay. Thank you so much. All the best.
However, sir, he has already hinted that all the 5 he wants 20 out of 20. Okay, Priyadarshi, last question.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell us what the judges are scoring on? What the 5 points we are scoring on?
Retripassion, sir, the X factor, the skill set. I read it in one go, but I think I got 3 of them right.
But they have 2x, you have single x, no?
That's why XX, you will get only half of X factor, yeah? You get only 50% of X factor. Then maximum will be scored out of 10. There's no Y factor.
It's okay, sir. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Honavar sir, for
Thank
those
you, sir.
interesting questions, and thank you, Priyadarshi, for bringing it out very well. So last 2 we have is I request Dr. Digvijay to please ask your question to Dr. Sarang Hansraj.
Hi, Dr. Sarang.
Good evening, sir.
So, I think the first question would be, if not an ophthalmologist, what else would you have been?
Sir, I would have liked to have been an architect.
And why? What do you have specific skills for that, or some thoughts?
Sir, I was interested in designs, structure, as well as utility and innovation. But once school draws you in, I think it's too late after that.
I sure hope you bring some of that to the field of ophthalmology as well. I think it will allow you, to utilize all these.
So the fact is, I'm still interested in it. So it makes me feel maybe it wouldn't have been a bad choice 10 years back, maybe.
Right. Now the other question is a little different. So you're in an eye center and you see a patient who starts to get very agitated or maybe a little aggressive towards one of your seniors. What would you do and how would you handle the situation?
So first I'd like to do is do a bit of crowd control, take the patient to a more comfortable, I'm in a government hospital, maybe take him near a fan and lower even if I feel it is his fault, still talk to him as if he's my first priority and allay all his concerns. Maybe he has a point, talk to him, understand what his problems are. If they're relevant, go ahead on that record. And even if it's not, make a record that this is an aggressive patient, treat him differently, be slightly more careful.
Right. I think well answered. But yes, the idea of literally cooling him with a fan was a nice one to put in there, I think.
So we actually also, I think, get hot when we don't have fans. So I can imagine the poor patient as well.
To the government hospital, yes.
Well answered. Thank you. I mean, basically the idea to understand is that most of the times, patients get aggressive or agitated. They never want to. It's either some communication gap. There are very few who are actually, inherently having that kind of a streak in them. So it's best to take them aside and speak to them and counsel them, and that kind of sorts out most problems. Unless until you actually get violence, in which case you need to first, restrain and make sure that it is not going to cause any harm to your senior.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Digvijay, and thank you, Hansraj. So we have last 2. Praneeth, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I request Dr. Madhukar, sir.
Yeah.
To please ask your question to Dr. Praneeth. Somshila, madam, are you there? I think she had
poor connection.
Poor connection, yes. Okay, go ahead, Madhukar, sir.
Somshila, are you able to listen to us?
There, but
okay, she's traveling. I think.
It's not inebriated, no?
No, not yet. Still time. So, Okay, Somsila, I'll handle that. So Praneeth.
Yes, sir.
So what exactly do you want to do in your life or with your life?
Regarding opthal or in general?
First ophthalmology, then other.
Sir, actually, I want to first take an observership for cornea for 3 months. I am equally interested in cornea and vitreoretina, but I want to explore what are the options available in cornea. Then I want to take a call whether if it will be vitreoretina or cornea. I like vitreoretina and I'm inclined towards it, but I want to take a call with 100% confidence.
Okay. So you want to do an observership, then decide which direction to take.
Yes, sir.
So in today's world, there are absolutely two different directions, because regarding your investment or your standing in the ophthalmology world for other doctors to refer patients. So you have to either decide whether you're be in anterior segment or posterior segment. You can't say that I'll do both.
Exactly.
Okay, good. And where did you do your post-graduation from?
From Jawaharlal Nehru Medical College, Belgaum.
Okay. Do you think your skill sets, what you acquired, is enough to get into practice now, or you feel there is a definite need for a fellowship?
There is a need for fellowship, sir.
Can
The skill set is good, which I've learned, but I still think that I need to learn more.
Okay. Can you do phacoemulsification comfortably?
No, sir.
Okay, that's the same reason why you have to go into the fellowship.
Exactly, sir.
Yeah, because, yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you. As we are running short of time, we'll come back again. And I think we have one last is Monica. Monica, are you there?
Sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Madhukar, sir, you can just ask your another question to Dr. Monica as well.
Okay, Monica.
Sir.
Whom would you like to marry if you're not married?
Of course, I'm not married, sir. I would like to marry some person from in the medical fraternity only, not in my department, other than Ophthal, because for me, daily we'll see the same kind of cases and all in Ophthal. At the dining table, we should discuss about some sort of cases other than Ophthal, or other than how patients are behaving nowadays and how the patient perspective is changing towards doctor. Because for me, I will get some kind of patients probably, and for some other like surgery and all, he will get some other kind of patients with some kinds of mindsets. Because I want to know other than Ophthal, I want to gain some knowledge other than Ophthal. What are the current surgeries, advances going on in other departments also, current Ophthal conditions, what they are facing in other departments also, sir. Other than
why you want to discuss work at the dining table? Why not Netflix?
Not only
Srinivas and Dr. Deepti discuss cases on dining table.
No,
ma'am, not like that. Not only cases.
She also said not from the same department. All the boys are heartbroken now. All the ophthalmology boys are heartbroken.
Yeah.
Okay, what is your biggest strength you see in yourself?
Biggest strength, I have a lot of patience and I can convince patients easily, sir. I can assure them very well. That's what my professor says to me, probably, if I'm hoping so, if I'm correct. And finally, I have a lot of empathy towards patients, sir. As one of my, I don't know who some of them said, if the patient comes from, not only from faraway places, but also I will wait for them until I clear that OBD.
Okay, good.
Hello?
Good.
Hello?
We can hear you. We can hear
Hello?
you. Yeah. You can't hear us?
Hello? Sir, hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Sir, yes, sir, hello?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead, Monica.
It will become Mauni.
That's
Dr. Madhukar, can I get your permission?
Yes.
Ask one
sir.
final.
Okay.
Dr. Madhukar,
KP.
with your permission, I'll ask one question.
Please.
Monica, think that you're a boy.
Okay, sir.
And you are going in a two-wheeler. That day there's a bus strike, no auto rickshaws. In a isolated bus shelter, there are 3 people standing. One is a good old friend whom you are meeting after 10 years. One is a very beautiful girl. Another is a very old arthritic lady. One arthritic lady, one beautiful girl, and your old friend. Okay, and you're a boy on a bike. So whom will you pick up and give a ride of the three?
You can do one at a time, no?
No.
Yeah, probably that is the best thing to do, sir.
The lady, the last. So first the arthritic.
No, sir. First, I will pick up the arthritic lady, sir.
Your friend, you're leaving with that old beautiful girl. Even though he's a
No,
friend.
I will tell her I will come back later and I will pick up her, sir.
Sir, at the end, can have an extra round.
No.
They
It's a
won't be
long
there when
drive.
you
You
come
can't
back.
come back.
Huh?
It's a one way. You can't come back. If I were to be you, Monica, I would have stepped down, given the bike to my friend, asked him to take the old lady. I would have waited with the girl for the bus which will never come.
KP, your basics are absolutely right.
Not correct.
Thank you, Monica.
Thank you, sir.
Madhukar sir. Thank you, KP sir. I think here we come to the end of the SOTI. Honavar sir, how are we announcing the results later?
You can do that now if you have the scores.
No, I think it will take around 5 minutes.
Okay.
So what I suggest is everyone can be connected in this group. So when the YOSI session starts, in between, I will just ask 30 seconds from Karan and Digvijay and Apurva here. So just to announce the results. So that
Karan is already looking serious. He may not permit.
Okay. So here we come to the last video, and we give off the screen to YOSI people. And here is our last video. Go ahead.
Good morning, students! I declare Student of the Year competition open!
This is for the next year promo, right?
It's like Olympics. 2020 will be played in 21.
Yes. Madhukar, you should increase the prizes.
Yes, we will, with inflation.
Okay, thank you very much, and we'll come back with the results very soon. Thank you, Honavar sir, for giving this opportunity. Thank you, Madhukar sir, for conducting it so well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Srinivas, for making it so lively and entertaining, and we really learned a lot from these youngsters. Thank you.
Yeah, wishing you all the best in your lives.
I must say,
Thank
all
you,
of you
thank
did
you,
really
sir.
well. All
Thank
of
you,
you
sir.
did really well.
Yeah.
All
Very
are the
interesting.
students of the year.
All of you deserve to win.
Yes.
All the very
Thank you,
best
sir.
in your
Thank you,
future
sir.
endeavor. Yeah, excellent.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank
They're
you.
all sorted already, actually. You know, their minds are so sorted and, focused. Nice to know.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
ma'am.
very much. Thank you,
Very
everyone.
interesting discussions by all our budding ophthalmologists and very well moderated by Dr. Joshi. Huge thank you to the jury for being there for the entire session. So before concluding with this session, I would request everybody to please switch on your cameras and unmute your lines so that we can click a virtual photograph. All right, so let's hear it for all these budding ophthalmologists. Let's give them a huge round of applause. Wonderful. All right, thank you. Thanks, everyone. With this, we conclude this session.